Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings be upon you all. This is Gems of Faith and I'm Nihad. Just wanted to give you an update about the Calais visit on the weekend. Me and Malika and another sister, Shazia, went on a ferry to Calais, to the refugee camp, which they call the jungle, which I never knew about until Ayaan Kurdi's body was washed up on the beach in Turkey. Then I heard that there was refugees there from Syria. So we headed out there to help the Syrian refugees. And when I got there, we had donations, alhamdulillah, from the communities around us and the Crawley community as well. Money and donations of clothes and that to give children and families and men, toiletries and what have you. But when we got there, I was disappointed because it was 90% men. There's hardly any women and children at all. The camps were, I can see why they call it the jungle. SubhanAllah, there it was wet, cold, everything you imagine of a jungle. I used to say, if you want to see the whole of the world, go to Calais, you go to the jungle, because you see all walks of life there from different countries. You have Pakistani, you have Sudanese, you have Afghanis, you have Arabs, you have Tunisians, you have all walks of life, subhanAllah. So me and the girls headed to the looking out for the Syrian camps, and alhamdulillah we found it. And the thing with the Syrians, they're not proud, but they don't want to be seen as beggars. So they'll prefer you give to someone else than themselves, and they'll only take what they need. I'm not saying all of them, but most of them. And then and they kind of protect their people, so they don't they're friendly, but they have this wall like this to protect themselves. And I think as soon as they knew that I was a Syrian girl, that was it. They felt, alhamdulillah, they felt comfortable with me, and they started telling me stories about their life and how they've left their kids, and there was a lot of tears there, and it was emotionally heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking, and I had to keep strong. And as you see my videos, I cry at anything, but subhanAllah, Allah did something to me that I was able to be like a stone for them. So they would tell me, and then I remember a guy saying to me, sister, we have 6 minutes a day, not 6 minutes a day, sorry, 6 minutes a week to have a shower in cold water, and it hurts my body. Now it's hurting. And he had, you could see the emotion in him. And I thought, subhanAllah. And there's us when we're washing our teeth, brushing our teeth or whatever we just leave the water running, and I'm thinking, I'm so guilty, I'm so guilty. And there was men walking around, Syrian and non-Syrian, walking around no shoes. And so I remember a man coming over to me and saying that I miss eating Syrian food. And I was like, well, how do you make your own food? And they were like, we don't, we just get what we are given, and you can't be fussy. And I was like, no, mashallah, you can't be. Alhamdulillah, at least you're getting food. And it was like, that's what he kept saying. And then me and another sister, Shazia, that went along with us, came up with an idea. They build a kitchen. So when I was talking to them, they were like, no, we don't need to build a kitchen, it's not going to work. And I was like, listen, I had my mother cap on, and I said to them, listen, I've bought camping cookers. We've had loads of donations of camping cookers. You either build a kitchen, and I knew I was going to give it to them regardless, but I wanted to motivate them. So you either build a kitchen, or I'm going to give the kitchen stuff to someone else. Because if you really want to make your own food, then you'll make a kitchen. And a guy from Scotland donated the wood, so subhanAllah, they had the woods, and they were like, okay. And I was like, you got to prove to your sister, which is myself, that you can build this kitchen. And they're like, yeah, okay, give us time. So I left them for about 2-3 hours, And I went back to see what they were doing, and subhanAllah, they had actually made a frame. It was so, I've never been so proud, you know, of, it was just the way they were climbing on each other's shoulders to make a ladder for someone else to climb up to make a frame. And then they started saying to me that they had one of, you know, their professions back in Syria. One was a furniture designer, another one was a cook, the other one was a professor, a teacher, a mathematic teacher. It's just, and it was just, and they were smiling about it. So it just made me feel like, wow, okay, we're, alhamdulillah, we're achieving something here. And then a guy, as I was building the kitchen, a guy came over to me and he goes, you're doing, you know, you lot are, you know, you're doing so much for us. I want to give something to you. And I was like, but I don't want anything. And he was like, no, I want you. This is a gift from me to you. And I was like, but seriously, I don't want anything. I thought he was going to give us like an item or something. And subhanAllah, he started singing. Not only did he have the most beautiful voice, but the words he was saying was, because just in case I don't get time to put a subtitle, I will link it to this video. He was singing about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose them to be in the situation that they are, and no matter what, he will, you know, they will continue to strive and do what they can. And even though Malika and Sister Shazia did not understand, the emotion just came through his voice. His story came out of his voice and through his eyes. You'll see it. I beg of you to carry on watching the video and watch that part, because that's the part, this, I mean, I've got the video on my phone and I just watch it and it does something to me. It just makes me feel so grateful. There was another guy that came over to me. No, sorry, I was watching him because the vehicles come, donations come, and some people don't distribute the stuff like they're supposed to, unfortunately, and they just open up the vehicle and they just all run. And I just think to myself, that's just a stupid way of doing it, because we got them in lines and we gave them ticket systems. Was otherwise you're going to cause fights. And there were so many fights that broke up out there when we were there, that myself I had to stop. And they can be really, you know, they're fighting over things. They're needy. They need things, so they'll argue and fight over it. So subhanAllah, I watched this guy and I saw him pull something, going through something, and his shoes were flying everywhere in his jackets, and he pulled something, put it to his chest. I went over and I said, what do you have in your hand? And he went, the best thing, and he went like that. And I thought, wow. And do you know what he pulled out? He pulled out the prayer mat. He said, this is what I've been looking for ages. And I just thought, we're ungrateful. SubhanAllah, we're so ungrateful. And then there's a man that was walking around barefooted. And I thought, we've got some shoes, I'll ask him. I went over to him and I said, brother, is there anything you want? And he ended up talking Arabic, so I was talking to him in Arabic. And he said, oh, now you ask, yes. And I thought, oh, shoes. It's obvious. Do you know what he asked me for? He asked me for Quran. He asked me for Quran. And I was like, I don't have Quran. And he was like, but I want the Quran. I need comfort. And I was like, I promise I will go and get you the biggest Quran. I'll come back with the biggest Quran. And he was like, if I'm here. And I said, if you're not, then alhamdulillah. If you are, then alhamdulillah. And he directed me where he was. And then at the last day, we went back to have some rest, and we came back the next day. And we we went back to the Syrian camps, and they had built the kitchen, subhanAllah, they built the kitchen. They had the door where they tied a tie, they tied a tie around, like, to make the hinges, and opened it, and they were so happy. And then I said to them, well, now I'll give you what I promised. And they thought, because they told me, that we were going to give them like a little cooker and a bottle of water or something like that. So I told them that they have to secure the vehicle, the van, because everyone will be coming in. So Malika was in the back, she was passing the stuff to Shazia. Shazia was passing it to the men, the brothers, and I was in the kitchen, and they were passing it to me. And all like we had like a good 6, 7 camping cookers, water, toiletries, mats, and ground mats. And the men were so overwhelmed. I mean, in my head, I've got the picture of them in my head. Now the girls were standing by the vehicle when the brothers were making the art, so they didn't see it. But I did. I told them. The brothers were putting their hands up and they were making du'as for our parents, for our families, for our kids, for our friends, for us, for Jannatul Firdaus. And they were crying and I was crying, and I was just like, I didn't come for that. And I didn't even feel like we scratched the surface. We didn't even scratch the surface, but they were so grateful. They were like, you've done so much, we're never going to forget you guys. And I was like, we done nothing. And then they started clapping and I was like, don't clap. Don't clap. I didn't come here for a round of applause. Don't clap. It should be me clapping for you. And then there was a guy that came over to me and he said, don't forget us. Even if you come back barehanded with nothing in your hands, just come. You've given us hope in this camp. And I was like, if I had time I would stay longer, but I need to get back. And they were like, if you can't come back, just remember us in the du'as. And it was always the same question they would ask me, do you think we'll ever see our families? Do you ever think Syria will be safe? So alhamdulillah, the experience was amazing. And just before we drove off, the same guy came back to me and said, the guy that was telling me about the show, he was like, please tell someone that the water is cold and 6 minutes a week is not enough. And I was like, inshallah, and we drove off. And in my mind I was like, I haven't finished what I meant to finish. We haven't finished it. So me and Malik have decided, inshallah, we are going back on Tuesday. Come in, and I would like to build a solo shower for them. And I think that's what's needed. Now, for anyone that's going to Calais, to the jungle, please, please, please do your homework. There is hardly any kids there. There's hardly any women there. 90% are men. So if you want to take anything, please take sleeping bags, ground mats, jackets and shoes, or tents. Or if you want to make a bigger difference, we need to work as a team so we can build mobile sheds. I don't know, something that is going to keep them warm for the winter, because when we were there, as we were working, it was raining and their tents were collapsing. They were collapsing. So there's no need for things like trousers and things. They don't need things like that. Toiletries they have. Food, there's donations coming in. They need things that they need, not what we want to give. It doesn't work like that. We need to give them the right stuff. Me and Malika, inshallah, will be going on Tuesday, as I said, and we will be we'd like, if you want to donate, we'd like donations of shoes and jackets, ground mats, and sleeping bags. Now, we're only taking the car this time because it wasn't easy to drive the van. It's quite tiring, and we don't, at the moment, we haven't got a van to take, but we're going to just take the things that we know they need. And inshallah, I'd like to donate some Qur'ans. So if anyone out there has any prayer mats that they don't want, I know that it will go to use there, because I was watching brothers praying on the ground. So I know that will come in useful. And I think I think please, if you're going to go, or if you're giving donations, just make sure you're giving the right stuff. There is, I don't want to upset anyone on the grounds in Calais, but I couldn't help but feel there was a lot of people going without, and a lot of people had more than they needed, and I mean refugees. The ones that made noises were the ones that got what they wanted, and the ones that didn't got nothing. So that's why I feel like I have to go and deliver it by hand. There's one thing giving to charity, but there's one thing making sure it goes to the right people. And that's what I've decided, that I will deliver it myself. There is going to be, inshallah, another bigger project coming up where I'm hoping to go to Lebanon, inshallah. And again, that's my mum's homeland. And as there's over, I think, 2 million refugees there, because I do believe the ones in Calais, the ones in Germany, as hard as it is, they're the ones that have the light at the end of the tunnel. The ones in Jordan, in Turkey, and in Lebanon are the ones that are in need badly. So, inshallah, after I've come back on the journey on Tuesday from Calais, the jungle, my aim is to raise enough funds to take a convoy to Lebanon, inshallah. Because there is children there, women there, families there, the elderly, men. They have nothing. They seriously have nothing. And I do feel like if I didn't promise I was going back to Calais to do that bit, I would be planning to go to Lebanon. So please keep true, keep up with the videos of how to help the refugees, inshallah. At the end of this video, like I said, I'm going to be linking videos to how I saw the camp, and how the brothers were coming together to build the kitchen. For me, it wasn't about taking photos and videos. It wasn't about look where I've been. That's why I don't have a lot of videos and a lot of pictures. I only have a few, because I wanted to give them some respect, but I needed also to show you that I had been there and this is what it's like. So I hope this was of benefit to you, and please keep the people in Calais, in the jungle, in your du'as, because they're in desperate need. But alhamdulillah, there is light at the end of that tunnel. They are just people just like us. They have their moments and they have their happy moments. They only want to be spoken to. They only want to have human connection. So you don't need to do a big deal to keep them happy. I've seen it. I've seen that the Sudani people are absolutely lovely as well. And Afghani, everyone was so friendly. So if you want to donate anything of the list that I've mentioned, also money always goes goes very far, because we can buy things there instead of buying it here and dragging it over there. And they have they have their own little shops there that you can buy from them to give to other camps. So I'm going to stop talking there now, and I pray inshallah that you're all well, and that we could come together again to make our next journey happen. Jazakallah khairan for listening to me, and jazakallah, and thank you for everyone that donated. May Allah reward you, and may Allah give you more, inshallah, so you're able to give more to those in need. Jazakallah khairan, and I'll tune in again. Assalamu alaikum. Bye for now.